And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. We have a banger of a series for you. We just wrapped up with Big Game versus Nightmare, and now we are here with Spirit versus RagnaroK.
That's right. We have a really exciting kind of clash of styles coming out here in the TvZ.
Yeah, we have the macro god up against the ape himself. I love RagnaroK so much, but he's he can be a very aggressive Zerg player. Even I'd have to admit that. But I'll be honest, mate, I have become a massive fan of Spirit over the course of this year. We've been casting so much of him, and he's been improving so much. It's been amazing to see. It's been beautiful.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Spirit's been very creative with his builds, and he's always kind of pushing the edges of just how greedy you can be in this matchup.
Definitely, and I'm sure we're going to be seeing some of that here as spawning in the top left-hand corner of Gress Farm. We have the Polish Terran player representing Storm Gaming. It is Spirit.
And spawning here in the bottom right-hand corner of the map, it is our Zerg. It is RagnaroK.
Boy, already mixing things up here, going for a pull first.
Okay, yeah, RagnaroK never wanted to shy away from being aggressive, but if Spirit is going to be going for a CC first, that will be a really nice build order matchup for him, although RagnaroK does have some cheeky Ravager all-ins that he does have in his playbook as well.
Definitely. So a very economic opening here at Spirit, going for the CC first, followed by that Rex. As you mentioned, we'll be keeping our eyes on RagnaroK to see if he does go for an early Roach timing. It was a pool hatch gas opener, so no rush into the gas yet at least, but we'll see what he does decide to do with this and how many lings he commits to as well to see whether he does fall a little bit further behind.
Can you give me a stream, please?
Oh, you're not in? No. Papi. I'll share my screen. It's okay.
Thank you.
It
looks like it is going to be a CC first coming out from Spirit here. Yeah, so if RagnaroK,
how did you know?
It's new. I knew the future. If RagnaroK is only committing to lings here, this is going to work out in Spirit's favor.
Yeah, exactly. We do have 2 lings out on the map here for RagnaroK, so no big commitment into this. As we were saying earlier, I was a little bit concerned if he did maybe double down too much, he would be falling a little bit further behind, but it's only going to be 2 lings as they do move out across the map. Likewise, RagnaroK is getting his third base up and running on location. A pretty fast third here from RagnaroK as he's now getting eyes on the timing of the CC.
Yeah, I mean, with the pull first builds here, you can go for either a low ling commitment and go into a fast 3 hatch, or go for a Roach build here. That's generally the 2 ways that we see Zerg players going, and this particular way is going to be working out really nicely for Spirit. He should have a nice advantage coming into the mid game.
Yeah, he really should. The lings, they try to get some value here. They do dive in, but alas, the SCV is going to be saved, and Spirit cleans up those lings as he goes straight into his third CC.
Yep. Bit of a signature build here of Spirit. He does love to go for this 3cc off the CC first, and often this is just going to be into a standard 3cc Banshee. He does have everything just a little bit faster than usual though, so it's a really nice way to play this build out. We should be seeing faster upgrades, and we see a bit of a heftier push when he does go for his 1-1.
Oh, yeah, exactly. And of course, RagnaroK is going to get confirmation of this. He does go all the way in with his Overlord. He confirms the timing of the third CC as well as the rest of the production. There's just very little. There's nothing that shoots up as we have no army other than the 1 Reaper for Spirit. So RagnaroK is able to get confirmation at least as to what is going on.
Yeah, what's he going to do about it, huh? Mr. Zerg, what are you going to do about it?
Die.
As we're going to be seeing Banshee started up. A Roach Warren coming out from RagnaroK.
Ooh, yeah, very fast Roach Warren here from RagnaroK. Almost to be expected here, as he is a little bit more of an aggressive player. Cloak Banshees have been revealed to RagnaroK as well. He's fully aware that he will need detection momentarily to help deal with said Banshees, and so far he's doing a decent job at keeping up here with the aggression of Spirit.
Okay. And a Bane Nest. Did he cancel his Roach Warren, or did it finish?
He did. He canceled. Okay,
Okay, I wonder what he thought it was.
Yeah, very interesting decision here. I wonder if he's just maybe trying to decide his opener here. He did just double
Oh,
check and he
discard
confirmed
a
that Stim
sim.
was on the
Yeah.
way. Yeah. So maybe he thought it was going to be a more mech variation out of Spirit.
God, that would be cool.
Would it?
Now we're talking.
You're an ad. What's wrong with you? Ay. Oh god. So yeah, upon seeing that Stim, it looks like RagnaroK is going to be going for Lingbane instead, a little bit more tried and true, and I do definitely appreciate that. Lair is already in production here at the natural base, and RagnaroK is dipping in for a follow-up scout just to make sure that he's aware of what's going on.
Yes, Overlord is getting to see the world today, but behind this we do have that standard setup coming out from Spirit. He does get into that for Raxus for that 5-on-1 setup that is so common. And yeah, it looks like he is going to be testing the defenses of RagnaroK here with the 8 Hellions. RagnaroK skimping pretty hard on the Ling, so if Spirit can work that out, we could definitely be seeing some more drone damage on top of those two.
Yeah, 2 workers so far. We can definitely get some more. We only have 8 lings here to defend, but we just made a couple more. Okay, 10 lings in total. Banshees are here on the right-hand side, but they do get spotted by the Overlord, so RagnaroK is fully prepared. He's repositioning his spores, and he's going into mutas.
Alrighty, very interesting. This is something we saw DRG playing around with a little bit yesterday. Fast muta into 3cc Banshee. And it is something that I have to say I've noticed is coming back into style a little bit. We have been seeing muta play in general quite a bit more in the last couple months.
Yeah, fun fact, I was casting KSL earlier today. I casted RagnaroK versus Cure, and RagnaroK did do this exact same thing against Cure. He died horribly, but Cure was very he was very aggressive with his bio play, as you can imagine, just split pushing and pulling RagnaroK apart, committing to an 8 racks against what RagnaroK had. So yeah, we'll see what Spirit goes for. You mentioned earlier he is a little bit more greedy, a little bit more economic. I wouldn't be surprised if he does head towards a faster 4cc instead.
Yeah, I think so. I think that 4th will be coming up very soon. But first of all, we are going to be having that 1-1 push. And RagnaroK is basically just looking to crush the 1-1 push here. He's going to be playing on a little bit of a lower drone count and getting a really big Lingbane muta army up and running. And he's going to be looking to just decimate the first push of Spirit. So I do think that is pretty much where the early game is going to be decided for these two players. And honestly, RagnaroK does need to get some damage here because his upgrades are very far behind because of the opener.
Yeah, exactly. A lot of the gas of RagnaroK is being spent on mutas, not so much on his upgrades, so he's going to have to try to trade very efficiently here. A couple of Banelings are on the way so far, so good. Piotr does keep some of his Marines alive, but some of them will get picked off as he does get fended off for now.
He does get pushed back, and this is what I was a little bit worried about. Committing hard on the push with the tanks. He has to be so cautious how he does this, because if this does all get cleaned up by the surprise mutas, he could be in some real trouble. But actually the muta's going for a counterattack, and there is no defense in these mineral lines.
Yeah, there are no missile shots whatsoever, so Spirit, he has to commit to the attack, but bathing speed is now done for RagnaroK. Meanwhile, SCVs are falling. We have reinforcements back at home. It looks like Spirit is going to be able to deal with some of these mutas. At the same time, he's pushing up this ramp, but more Banelings are on the way.
Yeah, there are so many Banelings. I think Spirit does need to slow down a little bit when it comes to defending this, but so many of the mutas do go down. Only 6 SCVs taken out, so that's a really nice trade for Spirit, and now RagnaroK's in a little bit of trouble. Spirit's taking his time. I really like how he's doing this.
Yeah, exactly. Slow and methodical push here from Spirit. He has Hellbats to protect these tanks from the Lingbane. Only 9 mutas do survive. We have a couple more in production here, but this base is now in range of the tanks.
Yeah, tanks shelling away at the bases now. RagnaroK has to pull the trigger, and that's exactly what he's going to be doing. Quicker pickup from Spirit and good focus fire on the Banelings. Wow, those Banelings are really clumping up, but looks like there is going to be enough here to clean it up.
Yeah, there's more than enough as RagnaroK, he collapses on this armor. We have reinforcements coming in. Good target firing on the Banelings. Oh, God. But it's still just too much.
The snipes were insane coming out from Spirit there. There is only 1 Baneling left. It is going to be taken down, but I think there's a little too many Lings. Ooh, okay, the Lings do go down. Pretty even trade for the 2 players.
Yeah, exactly. That was a very close fight for Spirit, bearing in mind that he's continuing to rally more units across the map. He is still only on 5 racks, though. There we go. He is now landing his 4th base on location, but still just trying to keep RagnaroK back at home.
And I think this is where things are going to start to get very difficult for RagnaroK. He has no creep in front of this base here, and 2-2 is about to kick in.
Yeah, 2-2 in a couple of seconds. RagnaroK can't really engage. Not right now. The mutas are coming in from behind, but we have more reinforcements going to be bolstering this attack. There is only one tank for Spirit, so he doesn't have the strongest push available, but I guess the Marines will make up for that once those upgrades kick in.
Yeah, the Marine's going to try to defend these tanks. It looks like RagnaroK might be able to get the pick off, but no, hot pickup from Spirit here. He's going to be keeping that tank safe, and RagnaroK, now he has to deal with this problem.
Oh, yes, he does, as a medevac is going to be going down with some of those Marines as well, so a good pickup from RagnaroK. At the same time, he's going for a big link counterattack as well. The mutas, they come in, they take down the tank, but oh, we do shave off some mutas.
Yeah, pretty pricey pick off, and wow, quick reaction from Spirit. Gets that wall up before those links can get in.
Oh, yeah, does lose the tank, but does preserve his SCVs, does stop this from getting too out of hand, as Spirit has given up this position. He does back off again, aware that he did lose a couple too many tanks, and he has to respect the army here of RagnaroK.
Yeah, Spirit recognizes his position, and he is going to be trying to maintain that economic advantage that he does have. Meanwhile, we do have a little bit of a run-by coming on in here, but the PF, it is finished, so he should be just fine.
Yeah, exactly. Meanwhile, oh my god, the mutas, they get 2 more medevacs as well. Good pickups here from RagnaroK. Going to be keeping Spirit at bay. Great job at maintaining map control, and he is slowly re-spreading all of that creep, regaining control of the center of the map.
Yeah, great micro from RagnaroK, and with all of this counter pressure that he's been putting on here, he's bought himself enough time for his upgrades to catch up. He will have 2-2 finishing up in just 10 seconds.
Yeah, it is only a couple of seconds away from finishing up. He's being very active here with his Ling Bane. Spirit does see it ahead of time. He wants to go at it. Oh my god.
Oh, gorgeous splits coming out from Spirit. We'll be putting some pressure on the Banelings, so RagnaroK realizes that he needs to get on out of there. We do have drilling claws for those mines coming up for Spirit as well, so he will be switching from that tank style into Thors and mines. Much better army for fighting Mutiling Bane.
Yeah, definitely, and we'll see if he can get there. For now, the mutas are still doing a great job at harassing. I say that a couple of mutas are going to get picked up, but a massive Ling Bane counterattack here at the third base, and Spirit is out of position.
Yeah, huge run-by coming on in here. Spirit is a master of SimCity, and these depots helping him out quite a lot as they funnel the Banelings through.
Oof. Oh my god, big mine connections on those Banelings as well, but the Ling Bane does bust into the natural base. The E-Base are under threat. Both of them go down.
Wow. Yeah, both eBays going down, so +3 attack is going to be denied, and RagnaroK is looking to run away with this game. Spirit's doing a really good job protecting those SCVs, but without a 5th up and mining, this could be somewhere that RagnaroK just continues to put on this pressure and have this momentum going and starve out Spirit.
Yeah, but as you say, that 5th base is now on the way here at the center of the map. Can Spirit hold on to this? He's not too far behind in the supplies. Bear that in mind. But on top of not having a 5th and on top of trying to get it back up and running, he now has a big delay on 3-3.
Have a look at these Marines as well. They're so overstimmed, and that's a result of all those medevacs that RagnaroK sniped out with his mutas.
Yeah, exactly. We have very little to support these Marines. They're so heavily overstimmed as a result. And as they try to keep up with these mutas, we have another Ling Bane counterattack once again trying to make sure this 5th base does not get up and running.
Yeah, Spirit is getting completely picked apart by RagnaroK despite such a fantastic start. He's also been supply blocked for quite a while now because RagnaroK was able to take out a lot of depots with his Ling Bane attacks.
Ooh, yeah, exactly. 36 SCVs go down. The Planetary barely does survive that attack. Spirit, he's barely holding on as well. He still has a pretty hefty army, but as you mentioned before, it is still very battered, very bruised, and he can't really make use of it. He can't really push out.
Yeah, the city is in ruins for Spirit right now. His units are just all over the place. They are completely overstimmed. RagnaroK, he loves having this kind of momentum, and he will just continue to crash on in with Ling Bane here.
Yeah, exactly. Now the 5th base is exposed. The Baileys, they rolling in. A late reaction out of Spirit, and the base alongside the SCVs are going to be going down.
Yeah, that is what RagnaroK needed there. He's almost taken out the orbital at the 3rd as well. Now he will be going after the PF at the 4th. Can he take it out? Looks like he doesn't quite have enough Banelings, but more SCVs going down. 74 SCVs have gone down in this sequence. I don't think I've ever seen that before.
That's a lot of SCVs, Bobby, but here we go. Spirit is sending everything across the map. He does have a supply advantage. A lot of the Banelings were spent across the map. There are very few Banelings left at home to defend, being morphed in, and they may just finish just in time.
Yeah, this is desperation from Spirit. He has nothing left. He has to go for this move, even if he is going to get cleaned up. And cleaned up, he is RagnaroK, taking game 1 with a really nice comeback.
Oh, GG, well played. Oh, RagnaroK having a rough start. Definitely, if you remember, the initial push from Spirit was getting so much done. The mutas not so much getting too much value for themselves, but over time, RagnaroK was able to pull Spirit apart. Oh, as you're mentioning, really good control with his mutas, like slowly getting value over time, and pretty important pickoffs even.
Yeah, RagnaroK absolutely tore him apart with a multi-prong there. That was pretty brutal to watch, and yeah, Spirit's gonna be a little bit worried, I think, coming into the next game. But wow, Neo Humanity got through. That's really surprising after seeing Spirit vs Reina on this map.
True. Like, this is a bold move here by RagnaroK to not veto Neo Humanity. I feel like this is kind of Spirit's playground a little bit. Like, this is kind of a map that he thrives in so well.
Yeah, this map just has Spirit written all over it. For a more defensive, more passive bio player that's willing to play a defensive late game, I think this map is absolutely fantastic. But RagnaroK, he might have something cheeky in store.
Oh, yeah. Here we go. We are now getting into our next game. Oh boy, and yeah, we'll see if our Zerg player has something ready for Spirit. I imagine that RagnaroK is aware of Spirit versus Reina. Not just that, but Spirit multiple times on this map has done a great job of just cutting it in half and dominating. He's done it against a laser, against Spirit, against any Zerg player he faces. So best of luck to RagnaroK. I hope he knows what he's getting in for.
Yeah, that's right. And maybe he's got some kind of roach roll in with a queen drop prepared. I think that can be really strong on this map, but you know, Spirit's got to know that something like that is coming.
I would hope so. And here we go. Spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Neo Humanity, we have the Polish Terran player representing Storm Gaming. Down in the series, but not out. It is Spirit.
And his opponent in the top left-hand corner of the map, in the red, it is the Korean Zerg. This is RagnaroK.
And RagnaroK has been very fond of this. Not just RagnaroK, Dark has been doing it as well, going for a 15-15 on Neo Humanity.
Yeah, I have noticed that the 15 hatch has kind of gone away, but that everyone is doing it on this map specifically. I can't actually think of why. I guess the reasoning is you don't have to make links, and because it's such a narrow choke in front of the natural, one queen is going to be absolutely fine to defend Hellion Rumbys and the set and the like.
Yeah. When Dark does it on Neo Humanity, he goes into gasless, right? He goes into fast third base, and he just gets queens really quickly as well. RagnaroK, I'm pretty sure he doesn't, of course he still relies on his queens to defend, but I think he still gets his gas soon afterwards as well. But yeah, it is something unique that we have been seeing here on Neo Humanity. It's been interesting to see players experiment a little bit with this.
It's looking like gasless, and I mean, I have to point out as well, RagnaroK is a player that was playing gasless for a long time, but there we go, right on time. As I start to talk about how he likes playing gasless, he takes his gas. Thanks, RagnaroK.
Yeah, RagnaroK, he did this earlier today against Cure as well, and again he died horribly. But yeah, it is really interesting because I do think that the gasless variation it just makes it more worthwhile in the end on Neo Humanity. As we've kind of talked about before, it can be really difficult to punish it as well. So it's really interesting that RagnaroK opts to still take his gas just at a later timing.
Yeah, I mean, RagnaroK used to play gasless on Moondance as well. I think he was the only player that was doing that. So it's something that he is pretty good with in general. I remember him having a pretty good game against Mario with it at some point. But yeah, he's just going to be contrarian and play gas.
Yeah, exactly. And just gonna have it a little bit later. For now, as we were mentioning, because of the 15-15, he does have, or he's just defending with pure queen at this point. One queen in each base. He's got more on the way. But Spirit is gonna be actually keeping his own Reaper back at home. He actually didn't SCV scout. He didn't Reaper scout either, which is really interesting.
Yeah, it's a CC first 3CC again coming out from Spirit here.
Yeah, exactly, and he's playing it out very safe, just keeping his Reaper back at home instead. Of course, RagnaroK did pull first last game, so maybe Spirit a little bit paranoid of that. Just wants to make sure he doesn't get punished or anything too badly here. He's just going to be securing himself instead. Oh,
right.
Oh my.
Fast lair coming out from RagnaroK. We were talking about this being a good map from Spirit, and I was kind of thinking about how, yeah, if RagnaroK lets this through, it has to be because he has a plan. We have been seeing people go for 2-base Roach on this map, but this looks like mutas.
Yeah, all 4 gases have been taken. A bold move here by RagnaroK, but I agree. This does scream 2-base Muta. Link speed is also on the way as well. We'll see what RagnaroK does manage to piece together. Meanwhile, the Reaper has arrived, but the Queens are looking to zone the Reaper away. Can Spirit get a scout off?
Yeah, can he indeed? It looks like the denial from RagnaroK's going to be very strong. I suppose this as well is a very strong mind game about this map as well. If you go 2-base, there's not really any way for the Terran to scout it quickly.
Yeah, exactly. As we can see, like, Spirit's having a really difficult time. He does check the linear third base to confirm that it's 2-base play, and now he's going to realize how late the third is. The Spire is now in production in the natural base. Spirit is going to try to dive into the main base, but he is going to be denied. Up.
Yeah, completely denied the scout by the Queens here, so he remains in at the dark. He does have some Banshees coming on out. I believe he might have cancelled Cloak, so I think he has put together roughly what's going on here.
Yeah, I mean, there can only be so many things, right? If your opponent is staying on 2 bases for that long, what could it be? It could be, like, I don't know, Link Queen Nidus, could be 2-base Roach, could be 2-base Spire. The Banshees are going to be hitting the field here. The Spire is now at this point halfway done, and so far Spirit hasn't quite seen this yet.
Yeah, Spirit prioritizing getting the 5-rack setup going as well, getting a nice fast stim, so he's definitely preparing for something along these lines, but that is a lot of lings that RagnaroK's already making. It looks like he's going to be staying on a pretty low drone count.
Yeah, exactly. Cutting workers really early on at 45. He does have enough gas here for 8 mutas once he does get to that point, and yeah, RagnaroK are going to be very committed with this here, as there we go, the mutas are now on the way. Spirit still a little bit in the dark, but he's throwing down turrets. He is getting ready for mutas.
Yeah, okay, so Spirit has put this together. Makes a lot of sense as well, and I think the way that he's playing should be quite nice against this. Lots of lings going to be prepared for any kind of Hellion dive. It's going to be very difficult for Spirit to land a third. I think that's going to be the biggest problem for him this game.
Yeah, I mean, talk about landing a third. I mean, I think RagnaroK's he's just all in, mate. Like, he's, oh, okay, never mind. He is droning, so technically macro, but he did cut workers very early on. We have a massive amount of lings here, going to be denying that third base, going to be forcing it to lift up. We'll see if RagnaroK can break into the natural. We'll see if he wants to.
Yeah, this third going to be taking a lot of damage from the mutas now. It should be able to get back just in time to keep itself safe, but we do have... Oop, the Banshee just getting F2'd back. I think that will get sniped out by the mutas, and it does.
Yeah, the Banshee does fall. You can see RagnaroK getting ready for a surround as well with his lings if the army ever does move out, and he is droning heavily behind this. He has a lot of catching up to do, to be fair, but he is doing so.
Yeah, and he is going to be keeping Spirit on 2 bases for a long time here, so if he can drone really hard behind this, I do think he can keep Spirit contained for quite a while.
Yeah, he really can. Hellion's doing a great job so far, though, cleaning up a good portion of those things. RagnaroK is going to back off as well, as the mutas are going to get caught out here by the Marines in the main base. They're going to try to dive on these Hellions, but again, so far, really good positioning here from Spirit.
Yeah, fantastic positioning from Spirit, and we have to point out as well, it was really nice that when those Hellions dipped into the third and saw no drones, they came back home immediately. I think it might have been tempting to try to dive for drones in the natural or something like that, but we can see just how good it has been for Spirit to hold on to those.
Yeah, definitely. As the mutas coming for a backstab, Spirit, he does not turn around, though. He's committing to his push. Bailing speed is done. We do have a couple of Bailings on the way. They will be ready for this attack. Meanwhile, that CC is taking a lot of hits back at home.
Oh, the CC's in trouble. He needs to get that repair going, and he does get the repair going. 1 meter going down as well, as we do have this push being set up. And once again, this is going to be pretty scary. He does need to back off quickly, though.
Oh, he really does. The Bailings, they do crash in, but they connect with the tanks and only a handful of Marines. And now there's nothing left. We do have 6 more Bailings in production, but that's not going to be enough.
Yeah, RagnaroK just holding down the E key, trying to get as many Banelings together as he can, but I don't think he's going to have enough to deal with this. Look at the spread by Spirit. That is beautiful stuff, and it is just so quick to reinforce this map.
Yeah, it really is, and it was a cheeky move to go 2-base Muta. It was great, it was beautiful, but Spirit with this big counterattack off of his own 2 bases is nigh impossible to stop. The Banelings are going to be rolling on in, but there's very little creep to work with. They connect with the tanks, but there are so many Marines.
Every Baneling and Muta goes down. GG is caught, and Spirit going to be taking this best of 3 to an ace match.
GG, well played. We are going to the ace match. We are going to game number 3 again. Spirit doing a great job at just deducing what was happening, just through process of elimination, just figuring out that it was going to be Muta play, getting ready for it. And even though he was stuck on 2 bases, one of the big downsides, of course, of committing so hard into these Mutas is that you have very little on the ground to support your army. And yeah, that was a very tight timing there from Spirit. Very well executed.
Yeah, very tightly executed from Spirit, and great job by him as well, putting together everything that was happening despite having the Reaper denied scouting.
Exactly. So again, really nice foresight out of Spirit. Unfortunately, not able to get into the long game that I'm sure he wanted, but got the win nonetheless. And we're going to be getting ready for game number 3. It looks like Spirit needs a couple of moments for a bio break. So we're going to give him some time to himself. But this game is going to be taking place on Royal Blood.
Okay, yeah, another small map. So it looks like we are having a lot of aggressive ideas coming out from RagnaroK today. He is letting these smaller maps through, and we can kind of see why as well.
Oh yeah, exactly. He's a man with a plan. And again, going 2-base Muta was such a spicy thing to bring out. What does he have in store for us on Royal Blood? There are definitely possibilities for him. We haven't seen too heavy Roach play from him in this series yet, but I'm sure he's willing to.
Yeah, that last game as well, I was thinking maybe that he would be going for a 2-base Roach setup. We have seen that a little bit on Neo Humanity. I think this map also is good for Roach play in general. I don't think we'll see 2-base Roach necessarily.
Yeah.
But yeah, the other thing is Spirit sometimes plays around with the low ground 2 racks. It's possible we see that.
True. You know, that's something that we brought up before, that this low ground 2 racks opener has been making its way through all the regions and all players, including Spirit. He is not prone, or he's not one to stray away from that. He's willing to adapt as well. So we'll see how much he spices things up, right? Like, it's still a best of 3, so not too many games to really experiment too much with. Like, we've seen Spirit play mech, we've seen him go into BCs. Like, he has a lot up his sleeve. As much of an economic player as he is a very varied player as well.
Yeah, Spirit's very good at playing against his image. He's good at either goading people into going for aggressive plays against his CC first 3cc, which I think is part of what happened in that last game. But he's also very good at knowing the right time to mix in something cheeky. And he doesn't do it that often, and I think that's what makes it so strong when he does do it.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's almost like Cyril-esque, right? Where Cyril, he has this image of like being like really prim and proper and just all macro oriented, and then bam, he shows up with like a Roach all in. It's like, oh my god, like it's just very unexpected.
Yeah, Cyril's got some funky builds. I remember actually seeing him do a queen drop in ZBT, like a really fast queen drop, and he basically just pressures with a handful of roaches and queens while he's macroing behind it and spreads creep all over the place. It's really cool. He does have some crazy stuff.
It's amazing to see, and oh boy, as we get ready for this, we are going to be going on a short break. I mentioned earlier that Spirit did ask for a couple of minutes to just kind of take a moment to himself, so we're more than willing to accommodate. So we are going to be going in a short break, only a couple of minutes. When we return, we'll have our series for you. Don't go anywhere. And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. Again, it was only a minute or so of a break, but we have returned with the ace match of this TvZ.
That's right. And spawning here in the top right-hand corner of the map, it is our Polish Terran in the blue. For Psystorm, this is Spirit.
And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have his opponent once again. Oh my god, going for the 15-hatch opener. It is the South Korean Zerg player representing Mystery Gaming. It is RagnaroK.
Breaking the law. Breaking the law.
Is this illegal?
Nah, it's fine. We have CC first coming out from Spirit once again.
Okay, so a very economic opener here out of Spirit. But yeah, it's been really interesting to cast RagnaroK recently over the past week. He's been very fond of this 15-15 opener in this matchup, even outside of Neo Humanity. I know that we were talking about it a lot, about how it makes the most sense on that map, but he has been mixing it into maps like Royal Blood, maps like Babylon as well. It has been really interesting to see RagnaroK become quite accustomed to this, not just in this matchup, but in every matchup, actually, even TvZ.
Yeah, I do think it's a good fit for him. It sort of feels right seeing him play this way.
He's been pretending all these years, and now he's going back to his roots, you know, to Moondance. Oh.
Yeah, back to his roots, back to the old school. And it looks like, yeah, not taking the gas. Okay. I hate you, RagnaroK. Why do you keep doing this? Literally, as I say it, I'm just not going to say anything. I'm not going to try to guess what RagnaroK's doing.
Yeah, it's just 15-15. He doesn't go gasless. It's crazy. It's crazy. But yeah, he does go for a bit of a later
gas that late?
No. It's just RagnaroK who does this. It's crazy. Like,
right, okay. Because he's 18 out of 16 for a while. Like, I was wondering.
Yeah, exactly. It's really interesting that this is something that again, RagnaroK has been doing this for maybe he's been doing it for longer, but I've only noticed over the past week of play. So yeah, it's something that he's becoming fond of, experimenting with.
I see. Yeah, and I wonder if this is something that's a bit of a reaction as well to the CC first coming out of Spirit. I'd love to know how this matches up with a low ground 2 racks. I feel like it'd be a little bit difficult with the speed being so late. I don't really think of Spirit as someone that would be mixing in a 3 racks Reaper or something like that, but if he did, I reckon that'd get pretty scary.
True. I do think so as well. We did see RagnaroK against Cure and a little bit of Bjorn as well go for this, but he wasn't 3 racks Reaper, so he didn't have to deal with that issue. But that is definitely something to consider when it comes to this opener of RagnaroK. As Spirit is just going for his tried and true, as you mentioned, CC first into a 3rd CC, so very economic.
Yeah, and I mean, this is something that Spirit just does sometimes. He just plays 3 CC, CC first, 3 games in a row. We saw him do it quite a few times against Wayne in various tournaments, and I feel like, yeah, the way that he thinks about this sometimes is he'll keep throwing it at you, and he wants you to try different stuff out. He wants you to be, you know, experimenting and trying to break him, because he has just so much experience with this build that he's kind of prepared for anything, and he wants you to throw out something that might be a bit speculative.
Yeah, he wants it, Bob. He wants the aggression. He wants to put you into, you know, this kind of uncomfortable position where you have to react to his greed, to his opener. But we'll see if RagnaroK does take the bait. For now, is going 3cc Banshee. Again, everything is being spotted by this one Overlord. It sees everything due to the fact that we don't have any Marines available for Spirit, just because of said opener. And RagnaroK shouldn't be caught off guard by that, as Cloak is on the way.
Guess a tumor.
Oh,
cheeky
Reaper. It's over.
It is over.
Tumor does go down. Helene's going to try to dip into the main base. Once again, we do have a lair here. A little bit earlier than normal. Just only a little bit, though. I think it was like around a 4-minute 20 lair timing.
Yeah, pretty early lair. Pretty early gases as well. I'm feeling mutas again.
Yeah, I mean, it's all 4 gases. Once again, all 4 gases have been taken here. Mutas would make a lot of sense. I don't really know if RagnaroK is one to rush into Hydras. If it was me and Micah, I would say Hydras for sure. But Mutas would be a little bit more sensible.
Yeah, and I think on paper, against a CC first 3cc Banshee, Mutas should be fantastic, and he had good success in that first game. So I think we are going to be returning to a very similar game to our first game on Gressfarm.
Yeah, that should be where we are headed here for RagnaroK. And there it is. Spire is thrown down. So he's going to be working towards those mutas. Meanwhile, at the same time, the Hellions are looking to dive into that mineral line. They do commits. They only get one drone before they are being forced back.
Funny, pro gamers are so stubborn. We're basically just seeing the exact same game as Gressfarm so far. And we're going to have to see if Spirit can make the necessary adjustments. Just to remind people, on that map, we did have Spirit going for a fairly aggressive tank push, which it looks like he is going to be doing again. But he didn't quite get the damage that he wanted while he had the 2-2 upgrade advantage.
Yeah, exactly. Just wasn't able to really flex that advantage, as you were saying, and he wasn't able to break any of the bases of RagnaroK, despite having a really good position. Meanwhile, we do have the two Glory Banshees diving into the main base, but the Queens are in position. The Spore is done. We have an Overseer as well. Despite that, we're going for a Queen.
Yeah, Queens and Overseers at both bases. This defense from RagnaroK is so clean here. He does throw down those Evos, and once again, he is going to be almost a full set of upgrades behind, which is pretty normal with this style, but it gives an opening for Spirit to get damage with his 2-2 push.
Exactly. And as you mentioned, we'll see if he is maybe a little bit more assertive with that push, if he does have a fire lit underneath him to try to be a little bit more aggressive with it. Or if that plays into the hands of RagnaroK instead. So far, doing a great job maintaining control of the map, though, with these Hellions.
Yeah, he's just trying to make it a bit more difficult for RagnaroK to spread the creep out here. And he does have some nice push angles set up on the left and right-hand side if he does want to go for that later on. I do feel like, in general, compared to Gressfarm, this is a map where tank pushes through the mid-game are going to have a bit more success.
Yeah, exactly. Especially because, of course, you can reinforce a little bit more quickly as well on a map like Royal Blood. And as you mentioned, there are a lot of angles of attack as well. A lot of different kind of positions that you can go for, whether it is kind of along this path on the right or towards the left instead. For now, though, we do see the push is getting ready. We still are building up that tank count, though. Only one tank is ready for Spirit.
Yeah, that's right. Mutas have been revealed, though, so that gives Spirit enough time to get his turrets up. He will be getting an extra turret in the production as well. This tank could be in trouble. Spirit, pull the tank back. Oh, the tank goes down.
Tank, it does go down. Big pick off here for RagnaroK. He still only has lost one Muta as he does dip towards that natural base, and Spirit is going to be busy here trying to keep up here with the Muta play. Meanwhile, RagnaroK is just saturating his bases, building up his Lingbane army, looking for even more pickoffs.
Yeah, RagnaroK looking to be really annoying with these mutas. We saw on Gressfarm as well that RagnaroK sort of out-multitasked Spirit in some ways. He caused Spirit to descend into Chaos, and I think he's going to be looking to get that going a little bit earlier this game. That is a lot of Lings set up for the counter-attack here.
Yeah, exactly. The Mutas, they pick up some of these reinforcing Marines. We do have a very quick wall here at the natural base. Third base is a little bit more exposed, but no, RagnaroK does not find a way in. Meanwhile, Spirit is focusing on his attack.
Yeah, Spirit going to be absolutely sending it with the attack. He throws down a bunch of scans to try to find out how many Banelings RagnaroK does have prepared. RagnaroK going to have to come back home with everything because he was really skimping on the Baneling count. And Spirit's going to get some nice damage now.
Yeah, he's going to get two bases. He takes down the third base, and he's going for that linear fourth base as well. And RagnaroK just cannot engage. Reinforcements are on the way. At the same time, the Mutas do go across the map, and they get a cancel on the fourth CC.
Big cancel there. Spirit is relying a lot on getting ahead economically, so that's really going to help RagnaroK out despite losing these two bases. RagnaroK double expanding to the bottom right-hand corner as well is going to try to just slow down and delay Spirit rotation.
Yeah, exactly. But here we go. He's going to be committing to this as well. The tank did fall. No tanks are in position, and the Lingbane is going uncontested, forcing Spirit back, but he's pulling back to some reinforcing tanks.
Yeah, these Marines kind of all dropping back to where tanks would normally be, but they're unusually naked there without the tanks, and they will be getting hunted down. As Spirit, in general, looking a little bit down in supply. RagnaroK's just played this out so very well. His multitask is really impressive.
Yeah, exactly. As you were mentioning, even though RagnaroK has been losing bases, he hasn't been losing workers. He's been pulling back his his drones. He's been preserving them, keeping them alive. He's up to 90 workers at this point. He doesn't have the most efficient mining, but now his bases are finishing up, and now he can start to snowball out of control. The pressure is still on Spirit.
Yeah, without the fourth, Spirit's in a lot of trouble here. He might be able to push back the creep on this side, and the creep is looking pretty bare on the right side in general. I think Spirit does have this lane down the right that he can start pushing through, but the fourth is in trouble again.
Yeah, once again, it's going to be delayed. This time it doesn't get cancelled. Thankfully, Spirit is able to keep it alive, and he has some reinforcing Thors to push those mutas away. But we have Lings coming in to support them. It looks like, again, RagnaroK, he wants to try to get on top of that CC.
Yeah, big Ling run by coming in. The Thor is left unattended, but smooth pickup coming out. RagnaroK trying to get that moving shot with the mutas. The CC is in trouble, but the 2-2 push has arrived on the other side of the map. This is where Spirit can start to get some work done because he is ahead a set of upgrades for at least the next minute.
Yeah, and you know what? He takes down the center base. He's taking down the base on the right-hand side at the same time. A drop into the main base. A tri-prong to pack. Drones are going down. Bases are falling.
Yeah, this is a vengeful attack from Spirit. He did not like getting picked apart on Gressvan, and he's going to show RagnaroK what it's like to get multitasked. He wants to outplay RagnaroK in the mid-game now.
Yeah, you know what? He gets his fourth base up and running. Spirit, he's on the cusp of maxing out as well. He has a pretty comparable army to that of RagnaroK. He's going for some run by RagnaroK. He is picking apart some of these reinforcements.
The medevacs are in trouble. Spirit's going to be reacting very quickly. Both of these players, they are so quick, so tidy with their multitask, and they are pushing each other to the limit.
They really are. And here we go. Spirit, he's committing to the attack, but RagnaroK, he's setting up the surround. He's coming in from behind with the Lings and the mutas.
The tanks are exposed, and there's not that many of them, but there's not that many Banelings either. Beautiful splits coming out from Spirit, but I think there is just not enough, and that means he's going to be losing the medevacs as well.
Yeah, the entire army goes down. RagnaroK, he holds onto his third base. He gets his fourth back up and running. He has map control. And Spirit, he is back on. He's on the back foot. He's still working on 3-3. He still has the defender's advantage, of course, but he's still going to struggle to have any kind of map presence.
Yeah, and these stims are a problem. I think Spirit needs to be a little bit more careful about how he stims his army to chase down the mutas like this, because we saw it in the last game. Once his medevac count was depleted, he was just running around with red and orange health bio all the time, and we don't want to see that again.
Exactly. Not like on Gressvan, but Spirit, he's forced back. He doesn't really have an army to really contest the area, to contest Royal Blood right now, so he's stuck at home, and RagnaroK is free to take all of his bases, take all of his expansions, and just punish Spirit, keep him at home.
Yeah, RagnaroK is just being so nasty with these mutas, and this is something that's just really annoying to deal with as a Terran player once his muta count gets high enough to fight small groups of Marines and Ataras, and that is exactly what RagnaroK's going to be doing. He does not respect the defenses of Spirit whatsoever, and he is just going to be flying on through, taking out tanks on his way.
Yeah, 3 tanks go down. There is only 1 tank remaining, and that means that RagnaroK, his Lingbane army, is going to go uncontested. It's going to have that much more free reign of the ground as we have more Lingbane in production. 19 Banelings on the way, and these mutas, they're still just flying around free between these bases.
Yeah, we almost have enough mutas to one-shot turrets here, so this is where things start to get really scary for Spirit. Spirit does still have one more chance to stop this game from going into the super late game. He has that 3-3 timing coming up. If he can get a couple Thors out with 3-3, I think he could try to all in once he maxes out.
Yeah, I think he's going to be hoping to maybe like absorb an attack, maybe hope that RagnaroK throws away too many Banelings like we saw previously, and then go for one big final push. And speaking of, here we go, the Lingbane is getting ready on the left-hand side. RagnaroK is getting ready to try to just dive on this planetary.
Yeah, beautiful timing from RagnaroK. Drags units into the main with the mutas, takes out the second factory, and now the Banelings descend upon the planetary. They will be taking down the planetary. RagnaroK gets out of there with as many Banelings as he can, and Spirit is now in a really tough spot.
Exactly, and as you mentioned, RagnaroK, he didn't throw away too many Banelings this time. He did preserve a lot of them. He has more Banelings on the way. He has remaxed. He is safe from a counterattack, and I'm sure Spirit is aware of that. He's going to try to regain control of his fourth base and hope for a better fight.
RagnaroK loves his Banelings, and he has 48 of them on the field. As soon as he sees his push coming across, he will be able to morph in even more, and despite that 3-3 timing for Spirit, I think he's going to have a really hard time getting anything done here.
Yeah, exactly. Again, I think he's hoping for something to go awry here for RagnaroK, for him to maybe be a little bit too wasteful with an attack. We do see him going for some drops. Actually, at the same time, he is pushing through the center of the map, or at least trying to.
Yeah, RagnaroK wants to jump on top of this. All of the Banelings going to be rolling on through. There's not really enough splash here. He does pull back for a moment. That's a lot of Banelings going down. Spirit has that 3-3, of course, and this is where the momentum can start to swing in his favor.
Yeah, I think that was a bit of a wasteful attack from RagnaroK. Likewise, a lot of mules are going to be going down as well. They do not get the turret, they do not get the mineral line, and now Spirit can focus on his push. He knows that he has some momentum going his way. We have 20 Banelings in production, and oh my god, we still have a lot of Banelings left over for RagnaroK.
Yeah, but RagnaroK might have just gifted Spirit the timing that he's looking for here, and Spirit here is not wasting any time at all. He wants to jump straight on in there. Big splash coming out from the tank on those Banelings, but I think there's just a bit too much here for RagnaroK.
Yeah, too much Ling Bane RagnaroK. He swallows up the army. This was the last attack here, the final push for Spirit, and it did not do enough damage. He gets cleaned up. He does get a base on the right-hand side due to that drop, but he loses his main army.
That's right, the supply of Spirit is plummeting. RagnaroK chasing him all the way back into his natural. We are going to hold on to the 4 bases here for Spirit, but yeah, he is going to have a hard time getting back into this one now.
He really is, especially because we are taking up into Hive Tech. We have a Greater Spire on the way. Lunker Gen is done as well. RagnaroK has access to whatever he wants. He doesn't have to rely on Lingbane Muta anymore. He can just head up into that higher form of tech. And yeah, Spirit, likewise, though, he's not going down without a fight. He's trying to regain control of the map. He's taking the center base. He's got Ghosts on the way. He needs time. I don't know if RagnaroK is going to give him that time.
Yeah, that's right. The 5th is being established here, but we do have the Lurkers on the way. The Mutas once again diving on into the main. If they can drag some army back here, it might open up that 5th. And the 5th is going to be very exposed if we are going to be seeing a big Baneling max out once again.
And that's what we're getting. We have 32 more Lings on the way. A lot of Banelings in production. This time we have Lunkers. Lunker upgrades are done. We have Seismic Spine. We're still working on it at the Talons, but it should finish up here in time for the next fight, for the next assault on this 5th.
Yeah, Spirit desperately trying to get his defenses up and running. He does have some ghosts on the way. I love this as well. RagnaroK just sending in a couple of Lings here and there. Wants to see what is there for him. But the way that he's splitting his army, I think he might be looking to circumvent the defenses and attack the 3rd and 4th instead of the 5th.
Yeah, exactly. He doesn't have to push in here, and I would advise against it, right? Like, you can see how heavily fortified Spirit is with the planetary, with the tanks, with the sensor tower, and the ghosts as well. It's going to be very difficult to engage this position, but RagnaroK, it looks like he's going for it.
Yeah, RagnaroK sharking, and he is going to be descending upon this position. There's not that many tanks to hold it down, and the Lurk is going to dive straight on top of this planetary fortress.
Yeah, the Baileys roll into the mineral line as well. The planetary is going to fall. The Ghost a little bit too far back. The Lurkers are leapfrogging forward here, getting on top of the army, and RagnaroK takes control of the 5th.
Yeah, RagnaroK wants more. He is running in with the Lings, with the Hydras. He does need to be a little bit careful with these Lurkers that they don't get sniped out by the Ghosts, but looks like he has enough buffer to keep them safe and to get them back home.
Yeah, he does back off, and he can just keep doing this over and over again. Just keep denying the 5th time and time again, and Spirit, his army is just getting weaker and weaker. As a result, he's down to only 2 tanks at this point. He has to rebuild his turrets, his towers. Did preserve his ghosts at least, but he needs more than that.
Yeah, the mineral income of Spirit is in the dumps as he starts to mine out the natural and the 3rd here. I think the 3rd's just about mined out, and all these turrets getting taken down as well. RagnaroK is not going to give him the time to set back up.
Yeah, here comes a Lurker once again, getting on top of the Ghost this time as well. There just isn't enough to protect them, to buffer for them as well, as this base is going to go down once again.
Yeah, some beautiful control coming out from Spirit. He is going to be taking the best fight he possibly can with what he has on hand, but what matters is that the base went down. The base went down, SCVs went down as well. We're even seeing the Ghost Academy get sniped, and that's a pretty brutal tech to be losing right now.
It really is. Ghosts are oh so important here, and as you mentioned, Spirit, that was a pretty efficient fight overall. It looks like he can catch a mineral line and a base as well here at the gold. A bit of a greedy base for RagnaroK to have taken, but the Ling Bane is coming in to reinforce, and he will not save the hatchery.
Oh, doesn't save that much of the bio either, as we do see those last few mutas still wreaking havoc in the main. RagnaroK wanting to get rid of those mutas. He doesn't really want them anymore. He's happy with his Ling Bane Lurker army, but we just don't really have enough supply for Spirit to do anything about these right now.
Yeah, exactly. He just doesn't have enough of an army. His main army is pretty formidable, yes, and there's a world where maybe he can take a really good fight, but as you mentioned, it's just not large enough to defend these fringe bases. And speaking of, RagnaroK is looking for some more kills on some of these CCs.
Yeah, RagnaroK, he's maxed out again. He's going to be chasing after these buildings. And we're running pretty low on orbitals now as well for Spirit. And that means we're running low on scans. That's where these lurkers start to get really scary.
Yeah, exactly. Just make a raven forehead. We do see a drop here on the left-hand side. Going to be pulling apart the attention of RagnaroK. Going to be bringing him back home as well. So this could create a bit of an opening here for Spirits. Meanwhile, the mute is finally getting cleaned up in the main base. As RagnaroK doesn't lose too much, he's going to be remaxing, rebuilding, and this time, once again, he's going for that center base.
Oh. Yeah, he's charging straight on in. Quick reactions coming out from Spirit, but RagnaroK, he doesn't have to jump on this right away. He even has Vipers now, so he can throw down Blinding Clouds on those tanks. I think that is going to be the killing blow here for Spirit. Spirit is going to be sending away a few of these Marauders, I believe, in this medevac. Yep, that is going to be looking to snipe down a base of RagnaroK.
Yeah, so we do have a base sniping drop that's going to be moving out. As you mentioned, the Vipers are really the thing that he's been missing this entire time to really trade more efficiently and solidify these engagements as well.
Ooh.
Blinding Clouds are going to be huge, potentially even Power Bombs as well in these few medevacs.
And we have Dropper Lords coming out from RagnaroK. It looks like he wants to dive on the production, and there is nothing protecting the production right now.
Yeah, exactly. As we do see RagnaroK coming in from behind, he's going to be able to get on top of two of these tanks already.
Yeah, a couple of those tanks going down. Spirit not fully sieged. The Banelings are being protected here by the Lurkers. Wow, that was a beautiful move by RagnaroK. I love how he did that. He's actually using the Lurkers to defend the Banelings, and the Banelings are just free to wreak havoc in the main.
Yeah, the Ling Bane rolls into the main base. The Lurkers are zoning Spirit out of his own main. You can see the Ghosts are going to be able to push some of them behind, but you could see that he's kind of running out of scans as he doesn't have his third. He doesn't even have his natural either. He has very limited energy here for detection.
Yeah, this was a stunning killing blow here from RagnaroK, and I think this is going to be the nail in the coffin for Spirit here. He does have a nice standing army, but it's going to be pretty hard to force the issue with it.
It really is. He's going for a big counterattack. There are only Lings at home to defend, so it looks like he should get a kill on this base. Even even sniping drones, just because why not? He does get 15 workers, but coming in from behind, the Lurkers are coming in. We get the yoinks. The tanks are falling.
That's kind of wild, sniping the drones. I feel like he needs the energy on those ghosts. But yeah, RagnaroK, he is more than happy to go for a bit of a base trade here. He's going to be denying any extra bases, any of those tanks, any mining, any production here of Spirit. And he'll just take his time getting around to cleaning up the army.
Yeah, exactly. Just making sure that the drops are not an issue any longer. We can see Spirit trying to sneak out a base here towards the top left. I think this is actually the third base that has floated over. The entire production line here for Spirit is migrating over towards the left-hand side, and Spirit is going to try to get all of this back up and running. These tanks are looking very exposed as well. RagnaroK, his own economy is not amazing either. He's only on 60 workers, but he's got the gold base. You know, he can still maintain himself for now. Yeah,
we have the nomadic campaign style Terran coming out from Spirit, just migrating everything towards the middle of the map here. I love the way he's got those depots set up as well, but he's running out of mineral patches to mine at this point.
He's running out of room as well. Like, where do we migrate from here? As here we go, RagnaroK is diving on forward once again in between these bases. Big Blinding Cloud on the Bio Army as well. He's still having a really awkward time pushing in just because of the Sim City, but he's taking control of the production.
Yeah, RagnaroK's looking a little bit low on supply now. I think he does have to be careful with these Lurkers. They could get sniped out. There's enough ghosts and then not really enough buffer.
Yeah, exactly. And here we go. As you say that, Spirit, he goes for the scan. He's going for the snipes as well. And a couple of these Lurkers are going to be going down. Expensive losses for RagnaroK. He is having a hard time remaxing. He's having a hard time rebuilding despite having a massive bank. Not so much anymore. And we see why.
Yeah, that is... Oh. Broodlord's coming in. Yeah, that'll do it. That'll do it.
That'll do, RagnaroK. That'll do. Yeah. he just sunk his entire gas bank into these Broodlords. As you can see, he doesn't really have a lot of gas to work with. As he's just trying to regain control of some of these gas geysers and rebuild as well. RagnaroK just refining his army, keeping his Vipers alive. No infestors, but Broodlords.
These Blinding Clouds are going to be very important because the Banelings have to keep the ghosts off the Broodlords. If there's a world where snipes can land on these Broodlords, Spirit could actually get back into this.
He can take a fight. He has a pretty hefty army. Once again, here we go. The Infestors are out looking for those fungals as well, but big EMP on the Infestors.
Yeah, MP on the Infestors, they only have a couple of fungals left. This positioning really awkward for Spirit. He is going to be pushed away from his tanks, pushed away from the PF as well. Fortunately, he's mined a lot of this base, so it's not quite as important as the base at the top left.
Oh, speaking of, it looks like there was a bit of harassment going on there. The Planetary is going to be going down. The Ghosts are getting ready for their attack as well on the right-hand side. The tank does rally into its death, and against slow and methodical RagnaroK, he barely loses his army, or any army.
This is a terrifying army for Spirit to deal with. It looks like he is just going to be bypassing it altogether, trying to abuse the lack of mobility of the Broodlords. He wants to get some counter damage going, and he's going to try to find it at the gold base.
Yeah, it does take down the hatchery. He's going to be able to take down some of the workers as well. At the same time, RagnaroK, he goes for a base trade here. He's going for the last mining base of Spirits.
Yeah, this is such a key base for Spirit here, and now Spirit's in some real trouble. He is going to continue to base trade, but he is taking out he's taking out bases at RagnaroK. He can survive without them. I don't think Spirit can survive without that top left base.
Yeah, I mean, he's got one patch. He's got one patch mining right now. He's trying to take control of top left and the center base as well at the same time. Meanwhile, RagnaroK, he's coming in. He's looking for a surround on these Ghosts.
The army's getting caught out. Big fungal coming down on some of these Ghosts. Spirit has to be so careful. It's going to take some incredible micro to save these units, but I don't think he has what it takes with all of the Banelings descending upon him.
Yeah, there's just too much Ling Bane detection is here. GG gets called, and RagnaroK will take the series 2-1.
The splits were amazing. Spirit's surviving was amazing in that game, but RagnaroK too clinical, too brutal with his attacks, and he will be taking this one. Really fantastic last game.
GG, well played. Very well done here by RagnaroK for bringing down Spirit. Was a bit of a close one. As you mentioned, he had really good unit control and he was trading as efficiently as possible with his army. He just didn't have an economy. He just was really having a hard time having a stable income to maintain himself, and that's what RagnaroK really was able to capitalize on.
Yeah, Spirit showing just how good he is at defensive styles and late game, but I think he was just a bit too far behind in the end. And yeah, Spirit, RagnaroK, he's just so good at these kind of games where he's allowed to just max out on Banelings and have these crazy attacks coming in.
Definitely. And with that, congratulations to RagnaroK again, as we are getting ready for our next series here. A couple of the previous players are going to be duking it out. It's almost a winner's match, as we have a TvT between Bjorn and Hero Marine after the break.